Hey everyone, welcome back. It seems like forever since I posted, and that isn't the case. But we're going to go through another sketchbook of mine. This is part 2 of 2022, and this is when I had decided to kind of push really hard into street art. This video is not sponsored by Bombing Science, but this was a sketchbook I bought from the Bombing Science website. Bombing Science is where you can buy a lot of like really cool spray paint and all sorts of other gear for tagging. And this sketchbook is it's got some really interesting paper. So as you can see, we'll just get going. We'll get right into it. The paper is really porous. I noticed when I was using my markers, it really absorbs. There's a certain heavy absorption to it. So like, I don't know how to explain it, but it bleeds. It bleeds really well. And so you got to be careful. But it's oddly satisfying. Like it can be really frustrating, but it's oddly satisfying. And I don't know if the paper's like a better quality or a worse quality. That doesn't bother me either way. I'll work with it. But it's definitely very absorbent, so you gotta be really careful with it. So anyway, a lot of what I told you guys about before with my lettering is I see what other artists have done online, and I steal their colors, and I try to mix the words up into something that I would use, and just as practice. I'm not afraid to try. Not afraid to try. We got a little Spider-Man action here. Some native gal right here. As I invest in myself, as I get older, I decide that, I've always liked street art, but I've never really done a lot with it. And I've always wanted to, so one day I just said, you know what, the heck with it, I'm gonna do it. I also collect cool, like little, images. I don't know if you can see this really good, but it's like a little doodle of I don't know, what is that? It's like a little rat with a sword. Anyway, and there's my patented fez there. Some weird snake guy with a fez and just little goofy stuff there. But some of these things were from murals in different countries. And I wanted to see if I could replicate them. Like this one. This one was done by a Canadian artist, and I wish I had the name, and I am so sorry. But I want to be very clear that this is not my original work. This is stuff that I have replicated because I loved it so much. But I do know that this guy's a Canadian artist. He's a Canadian tagger, spray paint artist, and his art is wonderful. And I've when I remembered his name, and I'll try to get it, but I was trying to look and see if he had a book of art, because he does really cool things. Like if you can't make this out, this is it's like a thunderbird or something. See the bird with the head, and then it's got its wings tapering back here, and it's on fire. But his stuff has a very Mesoamerican vibe to it, and just the use of color. It's just it just so speaks to me as I nerd out here. Anyway, but I would encourage you, as you look at this is evidence that I've been investing in something that I was not necessarily afraid to do, but let's say culturally, I'm not from the streets, I never grew up on the streets. I never tagged trains and been faced with the threat of getting in trouble for vandalizing stuff or putting things on walls without permission. I've never done that. So I wouldn't want to claim that. I wouldn't want to claim that as my identity or to try to be something that I'm not. But at the same time, I'm not going to let myself be afraid not to try it. You know what I mean? Being an older white guy from the suburbs, I don't care. I want to try it. I want to try it out because it's so cool. I've always loved it. And fear can really set us back, you guys. That can be such a problem for us. And I believe in what Jack Canfield had to say about fear. He said everything that we want is on the other side of fear. We just need to keep pushing. So here's some girl with wings and all that, whatever. Anyway, we got some kind of pseudo Egyptian looking stuff going on here. And some of the color choices turned out really, really bold and really cool, and some of them, some of them not so much. But I'm not going to be afraid. You guys gotta not be afraid to experiment. Like Albert Einstein said, he said, a person who's never made a mistake has never tried anything new. And here we go. I think this was from a mural that I saw, like this rose and everything. And here I am making it take a drink, and I put slurp. And then over here is some really cool hip hop style art of the Thing and Johnny Storm, the Human Torch from Fantastic Four. I want to bring that in a little bit more. Again, it's super, super stylized, super cool. And I just fell in love with the art, but I'm really terrible with names. And again, I'm just going crazy with my colors. Some of the colors are pretty garish. And again, you don't know how it's going to work and how well your colors are going to match the colors you're trying to get, but it's worth a try. And this down here, this magenta color happens to be one of my favorite colors in the Sharpie color Rolodex, so to speak. And here, kind of taking a little break and coming up with just some weird ideas. Here's Jean Grey from the X-Men. And then, of course, we got Wolverine, and I have Wolvie right here, and he's got little scratch marks through it. And here's some art that from different challenges that I've done in the past, where I actually did my layout using a orange ballpoint pen. And then I came back in with my patented faded markers and Jean Grey or Phoenix from the X-Men, and she's burning and stuff. But I use highlighters almost as a way to flesh out things, just as like a layout type tool. We've got some goofy little guys right here. That's the Black Cat from Spider-Man. And again, I used like a neon orange to kind of lay her out, and then I went back in with blue. And again, it's just having a lot of fun. And then this was a mural. I believe this was in Mexico, from the picture that I had seen. And it's just super cool, the whole headdress and the earrings and all that jazz. Just trying to capture that. And this one just, it so pops. It cracks me up how well, I think that's the thing about the sketchbook that I really like, is that I noticed, and I don't know if you notice this, but the different color, as I switched to different colors, I was experimenting with the striations in here, and the way it blended, it's really cool. It's almost like, rock strata, where you can see the different layers of the environment in rock. Anyway, it just kind of, it translated like that. And to me, it's weird. Whenever I see this one, I think it's in felt, like it feels soft. I don't know where I'm going with that. It's so weird to say, but it just super pops. It worked out pretty good. Worked out really good. And then, there's others that, well, they don't work out so well, but it's fun to experiment. It's fun to see what mud is going to stick to the wall. I remember doing this one, and I wanted to throw a dragon in there with the different colors. And just because it works on a wall with spray paint doesn't mean it translates well with markers. But so, yeah, But the dragon came out looking cool through his tail over here. And again, just playing around with my throwies, trying to throw those up in there. And here's a few more, just trying to come up with my letters, my tagging style. Again, this one I thought came out really good too. And again, I'm gonna credit the paper. The paper, again, it just really, like, it bled. And I don't know, it's just it came out looking cool. I'll probably buy another one of these sketchbooks down the road, but I own so many blank sketchbooks, and you guys, it's insane. some of these, you try experiment with arrows and that sort of thing. And yeah, moving right along. Oh, I really particularly like this one because the way that the original artist had done it, they had done like an inversion in the color scheme. Like if they inverted it, how you can invert color, and just what it did within this little box. And I kind of thought, oh, cool, I'm going to do that. And again, you guys, I got to stress, coloring is so much fun. It just putting color to things, and it feels so good. Especially, just the bright colors and everything. Boy, I tell you, if I'm in a funky mood, I'll start messing around with fluorescent colors. Not that I'm a child from the 80s. I mean, I am, but yeah, I don't wear neon colors though. I have pretty decent taste in clothes, I think. So here's another one. It's kind of cool. Just again, playing around with the colors. And here again, we have that cool, like residual kind of, I don't know, just the way that it's almost like a texture, the way that the color hits. And some of these not so good. I think I had something in the back here. It was almost like a Doctor Doom looking kind of figure, and it just it didn't turn out so good. And so I covered him up. I blacked him out. And again, my fascination with Easter Island, the Moai. Oh, he's wearing a fez. Yikes. Okay. Indigenous peoples, just really cool. I think this is more South American as opposed to North American. I think he was Aztec. Maybe not. I don't remember. When I watch movies, sometimes I'll see decor, and this was from Lord of the Rings when they go meet the riders of Rohan. I can't think of the king's name, but he's the one that's all like messed up, and Gandalf has to kind of free him from the mind control. But anyway, in the background, there's like this woodwork of the horse, and I ended up pausing it so I could draw that, because I thought, wow, that's so cool. Horses are beautiful. I've ridden horses in my life. I would not consider myself a cowboy. I am definitely a city boy, but horses are beautiful. I love them. And Neil Gaiman, his Sandman series, this was I wanted to draw a picture of his version of death, and she's this like real pretty goth girl, So I laid her out using purple, and then came back in and just made it a little, not too hard, but I just wanted to sketch her out and play with that a little bit. And then here, again, I collect my quotes. Better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. I don't know. It sounded cool. This was from a comic called, I think, Lady Mechanica. And she's like a vampire, but it's all steampunk and kind of cool back when that was a thing. And then this was a tiny thumbnail of a little drawing. And again, this is from this is from some art that I actually rescued from back in 2017, 2018. So I went ahead and taped it in here. And here's one of my Batman renditions. I think this was more of a manga Batman because his ears were really tall. So anyway, moving right along. I don't mess around with gel pens a whole lot, and I think I did with this one just to kind of capture some of the, just capture that yellow, and played around with I think there was a white one, just played around with it a little bit. And again, some of the color choices, not so good, but it's worth trying. See, that's the cool thing, is you can kind of figure out what colors work and which ones don't. This one, not so much, but it's never wasted. Your efforts are never wasted. And again, little kitty, love cats. And this little dude, I thought he looked really cool. He's got the little strainer on his head, and I don't know what he's doing, some kind of psych experiment. And I think this was in Italy, maybe Spain, but there was a volcano erupting in the background, and I don't know, it just looked really, really cool. I got another set of interesting images. Again, Mesoamerican stuff, to me, it's like this is some of their language, and I just think it's really cool. The pictoglyphs or whatever. I mean, we used to communicate with emojis way back, thousands and thousands of years ago, and now we use emojis on our phones. We've come full circle. So, and then Disney, and I think this was some horror writer, this lady here. It'd be great if I could remember names. Jeez, my gosh. So here's some more. I like how this turned out. This was a little stencil that I had used, and just so you know. And this one was kind of like a hot mess of wannabe Zen tangles, and I don't know, kind of not one of my better pieces. But this was a study of I believe it was Jim Lee's Batman, and I'll tell you where the mistake took place. This looks okay now, but I had to go back over it with black because I did it originally in just gray. Because I like exploring how things look in different colors, and you're going to see that in other artwork of mine. You're going to see where I actually came in and I did Batman all in purple. And again, that was dark enough to really translate well and pop. It looked really good. But the gray, it left a lot to be desired, to be honest with you. So I came back in and just went back over it in black. But you can kind of see where the original, and I left the gray in there just kind of, because I didn't want to cover it all up. Like down at the bottom, you can see the gray here. So anyway, and here was a project. You get project fatigue, and I don't know what I was working on this. This was Scotty Young's Groot in Rocket, and I just ran out of steam on it. I think something happened, and I just lost some energy to work on it, or I needed to put my energy somewhere else. And I never got back to it. Maybe someday. That's the good thing. Once it's stored in a sketchbook, you guys, you can always go back and work on it. Here's another one. I like the idea of, the differing colors, the different color schemes as we get out. And it's almost like this cool bullseye. To do this in red, I think that would have been really fantastic. And I might have to explore that again in the near future. And here's some more right here. And in order to soften it up, I used some colored pencil. If not, maybe some pastel. So I don't work a lot with pastels, but every once in a while I'll mess with it. And here's another one. This one I kind of lost steam on. I think I might have ran out of color. There was a certain color I needed, and sometimes that'll hem me up and I won't go back to it. And if you'll notice, this is evidence that I've actually sold work out of my sketchbooks or done birthday gifts for people. That's a good thing about being an artist in the family, is that they can always count on you to give them a birthday gift. And this was a stencil actually of this weird piece of plastic that I had that was in this shape, and it kind of translated to what the letters I wanted to use here. And again, try not to, don't be distracted by the crazy colors in the background, but again, it's kind of fun. And we're approaching the end of this one pretty quick. This one here, it looks like it's some crazy bug guy. I don't know if you can make this out, but he's like a praying mantis type guy. And he's got different coloration right here, but here's his eyes. And it's like he's got a faceplate that's all, got decor on it and whatever. And here he's wearing some kind of weird jewelry or whatever, but here we got his mandibles down here, and here he is, and he's actually speaking something, and it's not very clear, but it's almost like a word bubble, and it's kind of got this crazy negative, and he's saying something in his own language that I won't repeat here because I don't want to offend anybody. No, I don't think I could even pronounce that, but just having fun. I used to do a lot of this as a kid too. I'd do like these crazy alien looking guys, and I love bugs. I love the segmented, chitinous kind of armored beings that they are. Here we have something that got cut out that I sold. I need to point that out. Here I think this is Joe Madera's Wolverine, and I like how stocky he makes him. Again, Wolverine wasn't a big guy. In the comics, traditionally, he was like about 5'6". He was a smaller guy, because evidenced by the fact that when he would run into, say, like Sabretooth or other characters, they would call him Runt or shrimp or something, and he was this little compact dude that just, could wreak havoc on people. And here of course we have Phoenix, Jean Grey, and some gas mask gal. I don't know where I saw this, but I particularly liked I think it was originally in black, and I wanted to do it in green just to play around with some of the colors and stuff. And here I got a dragon guy wearing a polo shirt, and he's all cool and stuff. And then let's see over here, what do I got? I have some X-Men girl down here, don't even know who she is. And then here I have, again, this is a transplant from a sketchbook and you can see that I originally laid it out with a highlighter, and it's just Deku, I believe, from My Hero Academia, and then some crazy guy that he's a villain, and anyway, I thought his character design was pretty cool. This we have right here, we have Cyclops and Storm. The original picture, again, this is I believe this is Chris Bacalo's work, but it was originally Cyclops with somebody else, and I didn't want to draw whoever it was. I think maybe it was Rogue, but I like Storm better, and just the way that, her facial design and everything. I've always liked Storm, and so I thought, I'm going to throw her back there. And anyway, just having some fun here. I threw colored pencil in here, almost like a highlight, so it looks like it's glowing, like the reflectiveness. Cyclops, again, his the design of his visor, like back in the day, it was just the horizontal visor that he had, and here you can see kind of like the outline of his eyes. But his new visor is this X. Again, cool design, very cool. But you got the shadows moving in here, and I tried to replicate it to the best of my ability. And then what else do we have here? I have an abandoned project because somebody was paying me to do this, and they ended up getting fired, so I never finished it. But this was a picture of Anubis, god of the dead. I should say Egyptian god of the dead. And you can't quite make it out, but there's like hands, reaching up, like, like he's raising the dead. Behold. The Egyptian pantheon is pretty fascinating to me. And anyway, but and here we have a transplant, some little weird robot guy with multiple arms, and he's standing in water for whatever reason. I don't know. And then just kind of like just messing around, I don't know. I made a gray Spider-Man. I don't know why, but again, what can you say? Who knows? It's just one of those things. And again, I love stickers. So this nice little, this is a poster sticker that I have of the movie poster for Life is Beautiful, because it is beautiful, guys. It's very dark. It can be very dark, but at the same time, that's when the light shines brightest, is in the dark. And so that's it. This is my black book. I'm going to be back with you guys fairly soon. We're going to do some drawing again, but I just want to tell you to stay humble and keep pushing ahead. Whatever your creative project is that you need to do, I want you to do it. I'm going to keep up with YouTube. I don't, I can't abandon this. This is too awesome, and the response has been just really great. A lot of friendly people out there. It's just been really nice. It's a great way to use my time. So I'm going to stick with it. I will stick with it if you stick with it, okay? And I just want to encourage you. But you have a great night. God bless. Be safe. Bye-bye.